hear me? Go start with our HTML part of these classes, right?
Yeah.
Today we just cover like basics, and then as we keep going on and on. Oh, I forgot. I'm gonna start recording. If that's fine. We'll start with something like this, which is like a simple like "Hello, my I'm Kevin Selvin" website kind of thing, right? And then we'll end up at something like this. I said this as if like what do you call it? This is also like a very beautiful. It's like it's miles better than what do you call it? This, right? This side,
Mhm.
but like it can also get improvements. I particularly like the fact that you can click on this and then you can look at all my artwork, and you can click on artwork and look at all my artwork. I need to update. This is like old as hell. Holy hell. All right, so that's the more or less the goal we are going for, like a very simple website. So with Python, I immediately jumped into coding for you. But this time, what we're going to do is like we're going to go over history just a little bit, because HTML, when you talk to people about HTML and you go like, oh yeah, I know HTML, they'll say like, that's not a real programming language. And you have to be like, actually, it is a real program. It's a whole thing. It's like a taboo. It's like Smash players in the fighting game universe or something along those lines. It's like one of those things where like it's technically a programming language, but the community doesn't seem to accept it the same way. I really like HTML. I think HTML is like the way they would say it is like HTML is a script-based language, but I think you can do some programming with it, and it's pretty do some programming with it, right?
Mhm.
But HTML is not the kind of thing that you would usually end up using. What do you call it? Loops, or you would not be the kind of person who would be using if statements or things along those lines. HTML is mostly used for website design. Website design in the sense that what do you call content is put into this, that is in HTML. This is like, this looks simple, like in the sense you click this, you go back and stuff like that, right? The HTML for that is relatively complex. There's like, I mean, relatively complex. There's a lot of there's a bunch of tech tags that you had ended up having to. All right.
Mhm.
We're gonna start with just basic stuff, right? What we're gonna do is like we're gonna make something like this. All right. So for HTML, you don't have to okay, or not always. You don't have to always download like a separate extension or something along those lines, right? Some people use something called as Notepad plus plus. I believe. I do. Okay. Some people use Notepad plus plus. I don't know Notepad plus plus for my thing, but I didn't end up using it because to me the simplicity of just a regular Notepad is good enough. Right. Ignore the amount of files in this. I need to work on this, but that's a separate thing, right? So the way this works is like, what we are going to do is first off right click and make a new Word folder, text folder,
Word.
right?
Okay.
Not Word, sorry, text, like Notepad
Oh,
folder, right? I'm going to call it like, let's say, home, right? For the lack of better name, I'm gonna call it. All right. When I open this, I will get something along this line. But if I want this to be a website, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go to save as and then create a copy of home, but instead of .txt, I'm gonna type .html. Right. So if I do that, what's gonna happen is there we go. I was waiting for. You'll see that this now has the icon of the default browser that I use, which is Opera. If you're doing this, you'll probably have the icon of what do you call it?
Chrome.
Edge or
I
Chrome.
use
Chrome.
Chrome
There
one.
we go.
Yeah.
Whichever one you're using, really, right?
Oh wait, by the way, you're not sharing your screen, so like I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I am extremely sorry. None of the explanation that I just said would have made any sense. I'm gonna go through this again. Sorry, I am having an off day. I had to go back to my college for some weird shit. All right, give me a second. Okay, let's try this one more time. So TLDR, HTML is a. I'm gonna delete this stuff that I just made. One second. TLDR, we're going to start with this, as in, like, you'll be able to do something along those lines today and
Mhm.
end in something like this, which is a proper as website. It's
Oh.
hosted in GitHub. You click on this, it'll show you my artwork. If you click on artwork, it'll also show you my artwork. And it's not, I mean, I think it's great, but it's not like, I'm not the greatest artist. I like it. No, whatever. Point is, it's the artwork, right? And it's all hosted through GitHub. So toward the end, not toward the end of it, but as the class goes on, we'll also learn a little bit about GitHub and how to push, commit, and all that. For the TLDR kind of thing, right? It's like usually people would use something like Notepad plus plus, which is this
Uh-huh.
one. I don't use Notepad plus plus. I just use normal Notepad. What I just do is right click, go to new, make a new text folder, name it home. or something like this, right? I'm gonna open up a home, but I want this home to be a website. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go to save as, and then I'm going to do home.html. And so if you give it a second, yeah, there you go. So you see in here, there's a home.html and it has Opera symbol. And while this home has the default notepad symbol. So I open up home and there you go. This is by definition a HTML. A couple of things to note. First, it's like you see this said this is C user Kevin desktop home, right? Meaning
Mhm.
this is a
Yeah.
website that you're running within your own PC. So if I go to Google and then type home or something, it'll give you like random results, but this wouldn't be part of it. How do I know that? Because we're not hosting this anywhere. We'll deal with hosting later, but right now what we are doing is we're just designing the website. And how you design the website comes down to a little bit of creativity, a little bit of changes, a little bit of thinking in a very specific way. Because
Mhm.
with Python, you never had to worry about how the code looks. You just had to worry about if the code will look better, if it look if, if it will look decent enough in the sense that it looks like a program, it talks like a program, it operates like a program, right? Here
Mhm.
you have to worry a little bit about how it looks. A bit of horror story. This goddamn arrangement took me ages. It took me way more than it should have. And this is not even complete, by the way. I needed to draw more pictures, but I lost interest. But point is, this
Oh.
goddamn images, this goddamn setting up took me ages. Point being, for now we're gonna start try to make something like this. All right. So every time you make a HTML document, the first thing you need to do is put these. You're gonna open a greater than sign and lesser than sign. Anything within this is considered as a tag. A tag is something that is how you tell the HTML or the website, the browser to be specific, what to be displayed or what it is doing. You're basically telling the program or whatever website it is what it's seeking. So take a random website. Let's say I'm taking this Pinterest, right? What I'm going to do
Mhm.
is I'm going to hit, is it F10? No, no, wait. One of these buttons. Is this it? Oh, this is a new one. Oh, fucking goddamn it. It's like closed everything. But I'm gonna open up a random website and then you're gonna see like it's not controls, it's you might say that. Right, let's see, right click. Okay. So if you see, if I right click and there's it's control view, I'm so bad. If I hit page source, right, it'll basically open up a huge HTML file. Like extremely huge HTML file. And that's just for this, by the way. If I go to this and then I right click and then I do like page source, you will see a different HTML file, but it is still a huge HTML file. So in this HTML file, there's a doc type HTML. Basically, what we are doing is we are telling the browser that this is a HTML file. So we're going to copy that. We're going to say HTML isn't case sensitive, unlike Python. In Python, if you write capital TRUE and small TRUE, they mean completely different things. In HTML, if I do doc type HTML, or even if I do what do you call it, capital HTML,
It's still the same thing.
it's still the same thing. However, it's highly recommended that you do small letters here. It's one of those things where it's like multiple programmers have started using small letters, right? Therefore, it's become sort of a standard. That being said, if you don't do it, it's not a bad thing. Just people will look at you funny, or other people will look at you funny. Then what you have to do is you have to define the start and end of this website. So you're gonna say HTML, and then at the end of it, you're gonna immediately afterward, you're gonna say slash. This basically tells you that, or tells the browser that anything that you put within this thing counts as a what do you call it? Counts as a website. So if you look at this huge website, right, this also has a start HTML thing, but it has a lot of extra things. Class is equal to en, language is equal to en, and then it closes, right?
Mhm.
Basically, these are all attributes to the HTML tag, which we'll handle over next class, right? But for now, you see that there's a there's a HTML tag here, from here to here. But notice that there's not a closing HTML tag like this. That's because if we go to the bottom and somewhere here, because people are bad at writing them. 1 second. I'm back. Sorry.
Oh.
It's weird. She calls it the wildest time. But nonetheless, going back to the thing, right? Uh, like I said, there usually there's a script data here. We're going to control F this. So you notice that they put the slash HTML here. And
Yeah.
anything within all of these lines, I am dragging this so far, but I know for
Oh my gosh.
right? Everything within this bit, right? Anything within this bit contains the contents of the website. What is in the website, what is there, what the images and things along those. Right.
Mhm.
So for our case, anything within this HTML tag and the slash HTML tag will count as the contents of the web. This is called a starting tag and this is called a closing tag. For HTML, when you do HTML, always remember to put a slash HTML at the end. Otherwise, it won't throw an error because unlike Python, there's no like dedicated IDE for this, or there might be, but like they're all like third party organized or owned. So usually, what people end up doing is like they either make their own or use Notepad or something like that. Now next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a body to this. Why do you need to add a body even though there's a HTML here? Because when you do anything within HTML and slash HTML, not only covers the website's content, but it also covers this bit. So you see, it says Pinterest here, 72 here, right? Or it says
Mhm.
CSS selectors or view source, all of this that is covered. That needs to be put under the HTML tag. But for our purposes, what we're going to do is we're going to only put a body tag here because we're not gonna bother with the top names or anything along those lines. We're just gonna say a body here, and then I'm gonna close the body tag. You notice that I'm closing all my tags, right?
Yeah.
Some tags you don't have to close. Sometimes you don't have to close their tag, and it won't throw an error. But again, standard practice, always close your tags because that way, if you have something awkwardly positioned or something along those lines, you should be able to say like, oh, this tag is not closed. Let me close this and figure out how to do kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
Now, I'm going to add in a big title letter, I'm going to say, my kept hello. I'm going to say hello. So I'm going to say H1. H1 means heading, or H means heading. And as I've done with everything, I'm going to close H. And now
Mhm.
here I'm going to type HELLO, hello. Save
Okay.
and once I save this, if I open up home, you'll see in big letters, hello, right?
Oh.
It's so far it's like what do you call very basic kind of thing, right? But even with just the H tag, or as they say H1 tag, we can change modify this. So for example, I want this a little bit smaller. Well, I'm going to convert this to H2 instead of H1. So I'll close this, and then instead of reopening it, I'm just gonna hit refreshing. Notice it became smaller, right?
Yeah.
So the first let's say the first like tag that you can already modify will be the tags heading or H tags, as they say, right?
Mhm.
Heading tags are simple. What you basically do is like you do H1 or 2 or till 7, and then you close them with this, and then say, let's do this. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this and paste it like two more times. I'm going to change these numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if I refresh this, what you will see is hello in
It's
various
not
different values.
okay.
And notice that H7 one is just normal hello, right? Well,
Mhm.
that's awkward. That's because H7 doesn't exist. That's why it's like a little bit awkward here. Because back in my day, H7 existed. I guess they removed it. Whatever. But more the point is you see that it's in the ascending or descending order of sizes. This is H1, H2, H3, H4, H4, H5, H6, right? So that's the second thing, right? The bigger the number, the smaller the text. But if you want to, what do you call it? It's called the heading tag. So usually people use this for heading, right?
Mhm.
Say you don't want heading, you want like actual content. Well, that's why the paragraph tag exists. So that is just
That's
same tag.
P1, P2. Yeah.
It's not actually P1 T through, right?
Oh.
Paragraph tag is just P. You just set it up as
Oh.
P. The heading tag is H1, two, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6 because the creators of HTML, when they originally made it, wanted to have various different forms of heading. In the sense that if you
Mhm.
do H1, it's like the biggest thing, then subheading, then subheading, etc., 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 right? Paragraph is mostly for in order to write blocks of text. So if I do this and slash P, right? I'm gonna say my name is Kevin Selvin. I am a HTML designer. I misspelled designer. And then I run this, right? It immediately says, hello, my name is Kevin Silver. I'm a HTML designer. Simple font, which is, I think it's like what? Times New Roman, I think, right? And then no colors, no nothing. We'll deal with colors later. But for now, what I'm going, just as a simple thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, first off, I'm going to have this as H1, remove all of this, and I'm going to say, intro, and then my name is Kevin Seven. I'm a HTML designer. And then I'm going to say H. to slash, then I'm going to type up, and then I'm going to be, I control S this and I run this. You see, so it's first is hello and then introduction. My name is Kevin Selvin. I'm an HTML designer. Purpose, I am making this website. For now, it looks real plain, right? It's like, okay, well, we got the text to line up in the proper way. How do we make
Mhm.
this a little bit more, let's say, colorful, for the lack of a better term, right? Again, we're still in the basics, so we won't be able to do something like, what do you call it, fancy, but small things that we're going to learn, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new tag here, B. So the BR tag doesn't need a slash, doesn't need a ending. The BR stands for break. Basically, what ends up happening, if I control S here and then I reload this, the next line goes to the next line. Or sorry, the rest
Okay,
of
the
the stuff
next
goes to,
sentence
yeah.
goes to this.
So whenever you do BR, it's basically telling the code that, hey, I'm hitting enter here and I want the rest of this to be on the next line. So let's say I do this and then I control S here and then I roll this. Nothing changed. Why? Because HTML, unlike Python, doesn't care that much about format. It's pretty loosey goosey with this formatting. People usually do this kind of thing, but even if you like, I believe if you do like this and then you do this, right? When you do Control S and then you reload, it still doesn't change because nothing changed. Python, on the other hand, if you do this, it will immediately throw you an error.
Yeah, they're very that sensitive.
Yeah, it is very sensitive to these kinds of things. Exactly. So there's that, right? As a last thing, I just, let's say I want to change the background color of this entire page, right?
Mhm.
Well, for that, what we are going to do, we're going to make another, what do you call it? We're going to do this. We're going to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go file new. All right, this is a separate one. So I'm going to do something that might look like a magical, whimsical thing, but I'm going to write a little bit of code. So you see, I'm writing body and then two, what is this called? Flower brackets, as they call it, right? Then I'm going to
Mhm.
write color, do this, and let's say green. All right. The other main thing, only similar thing to that is like I'm going to go to save as, and instead of saving it as .txt, I'm going to save it as home.css. There you go. Okay, and then I'm going to save. So I hit Control S, and then if I open up Home and reload, okay, well this is not working. I'll try to let you know how to work this properly. But the idea is, if you look over at here, right,
Mhm.
index.html also has an index.css. Okay. Oh, it's background color. That's why I messed up.
Oh, okay. And you need do you specifically need the code for the color, like what color you want it, or
That's for me, but you don't often
oh,
need the color. But right now, I'm just writing green, right?
okay.
And a semicolon. The semicolon is important here. That's why it like messed up. That makes more sense. All right. Because I had to. Nope. Okay, I'll let you know how to connect these things. But the idea is, notice that here there's an index.css and an index.html, all to point towards the index page. I think that is this one, right? It's home, but like I called it index, right? The reason being, HTML is not the thing that like beautifies the place, if that makes sense. HTML is like a home decor officer or something like what do you call it? A home decor person. No, not a home. It's the person who's living in the house. They live in the house and they've like gotten used to the place and they're like, okay, this is what the house is about. CSS, which is an adjacent programming thing to which is adjacent to HTML, which is also, I believe the full title is like, where's it called? I think it's like control markup language or something. Not markup language. There's a name for this control, but I just call it CSS. Right? CSS, what it ends up helping you do is it helps you make the website look. So your job here with CSS, what you end up doing is you just like, what do you call it? Specify specific things. For example, you can specify the background. You specify that you display it as a block thing. You specify a position, and
Mm.
the corresponding HTML file will automatically take that and use it within its what do you call it? Use it within its website. All right, that we'll cover on tomorrow's class. Basically, I'm just checking on how to connect these. But for now, all we can do is hello. There's a H1, and then there's a text, and then another H2, and then we'll do around. All right, got it so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So is it okay if we share your screen and we'll just go over this exercise from your side?
Yeah, sure.
All right, stop sharing. This is going to be like a little bit of shifting in the way you think about this, right? Because with Python, it was like, oh, you just like have very specific rules and you follow the specific rules, it works out, right? But in this
Mhm.
case, it's like a little bit more awkward. You have to be like thinking in the sense of like, okay, so how do I do creative stuff kind of thing, right? Okay. So
Yeah,
first off, we're going to start around with like, what do you call it? Making a first HTML document. So right click and make a new text document, right? You can already
this
use
one.
that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a recommendation is just rename it to something like first HTML page or home or something along those lines. Anything that makes sense to you. Okay. So now if you hit enter and open it up, just hit enter and open it up, you will just be reading the text file. Excellent. But we need a version of this text file that is a HTML file. So go to file and then save as first.html. So in the file name, just type first.html. HTML. Yeah. Just hit and save. It'll automatically save it as this thing, I think. You see that has a Chrome icon. That means you have, if you open it up, like double click, open it up, it'll open in Chrome, but there's nothing in it because you haven't put
Yeah.
anything in it. All right. So let's put stuff into it. All right. We're gonna start with the thing where like we give one heading. No, we're gonna first set up the basic for this. So first tag, so to speak, that you're going to do is open up a lesser bracket. Whenever I say bracket in context of HTML, it's always like the lesser than and greater than symbol, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
Unless I say flower bracket, but for now it is just lesser than and greater than bracket. All right.
Okay.
Exclamatory mark, capital, the doc, you're gonna specify that it's HTML. So doc type, DOCTYPE. Now, the doc type always has to be capital. The rest of it doesn't matter. That's the one of the few exceptions to the, what do you call it, HTML capitalizing rule. And then doc type, we're gonna say that it's a HTML document to the browser. So just type H and then close the tag, right? You don't have to close this tag either, mostly because you don't have to like do slash doc type or anything, because this is basically like a declaration to the browser that hey, this is the HTML thing. This wasn't needed in like older versions of HTML, and now HTML is advanced enough, and people are like, okay, we better tell people.
Okay.
Next up, just hit enter, or you don't have to hit enter, but like it's better to if you hit enter, right? Start a HTML tag. So open up a curly, not a curly, angular greater than, like open up a bracket, right? Type HTML, all right, and then close the thing. Now in the same thing, type open up a bracket again, put a slash, the normal slash that we use, the divided by symbol, HTML, and then close it. Now any work that you're going to do is going to be within the area that within like between HTML and slash HTML. All right. So you can hit a enter, just hit enter. It'll automatically go down here, right? It comes down to how your preference of working is. What I do is like I just hit one more enter, so it's like clearer for me, right? Like just hit enter again, and that's where I usually work. Some people like the HTML tagging at the end of their code, but that's preference thing, right? Next, what we're going to do is you're gonna open up a body tag. So open up an angular bracket, write body, body, all right, and then same logic, open up another angular bracket, just close the body tag. Yes, all right, okay. For the first exercise, what we're going to do, we're not even going to do any we're not going to do any H1 H2 nonsense. Just inside the body, type something, say like my name is Priscilla. Normally, just type it normally. So just enter, hit enter, and then type my name is Priscilla, and then now save this and open the first thing, right? Oh, you don't have to open it. Maybe, yeah, you're right. Just refresh it. Just refresh it. Yeah. Oh, it's already there. Sorry. Yeah. So you see, it's just there. My name is Priscilla. If you change the text, it will be different. It doesn't matter what you do, but it's basically the idea is like, what do you call it? Whatever you type there will be displayed here, right? Okay. But then, let's apply some modifications to this, right? For example, if you write like, not write like, let's say we want to specify that this bit is a paragraph. All right. So the start of my name is Priscilla, just start a tag that's like P, right? So type P and then close it at the end of it. Again, paragraph tags are one of those tags that work even if you don't close it, but it's always good manners, good etiquette. It's standard to close them. So at the end of it, just do slash. All right. Now save this and refresh your file. Not file, refresh the website. You see, there's a little bit of gap there because whenever you use the paragraph tag, it basically does the thing of like, you know how like in Word documents we put a heading and then after the heading there's a little bit gap and then we do paragraph. We don't immediately do the thing. Same logic that paragraph does. But the paragraph tag does that little gap in the end of it, right? Next up, we're going to add a heading to this. Depending upon where you want it. So if you want the heading above the paragraph or below the paragraph, right? You hit enter and then start with, let's do H1, right? So you open up a H1 tag and then close up a H1 tag. So same way, like, open the tag and slash H1 or it's your choice. Just write, write like your introduction, type introduction and then close the tag. See, the way I do it usually is like I write the starting of the tag and the ending of the tag and then go back 2 spaces and then type it inside. It's a preference thing, really, right? Now save this and then refresh the website. See, you have introduction. Of course, at this point, it's a very like, what do you call it? How do you want to, what do you call it? Modify this or like, does this look good kind of thing, right? A lot of it is like test, try and error. You just like put stuff on the HTML thing and then figure it out. So now what we're going to do is like, first off, we're going to make that introduction have like a capital I. So it's, what do you call it? It looks better. Okay, that's that. While I'm doing HTML, I'm going to be very like, what do you go? That doesn't have a capital. That is. I'm going to be very like art criticky about it. You don't have to do it, but it's one of those things where it's like, others will do it if I don't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 I get,
It's
I
real
get
annoying working
you.
for making website for people, dude. It's real annoying. Anyway, so introduction, right? My name is Priscilla. That's awesome. You can capitalize Priscilla if you want, but again, that's a separate thing.
All
Um,
right.
sorry. Now, in a more coding side of things, right? There's H1, and then let's say instead of introduction, the first heading needs to be greetings or hello, something like that, right? And then in a smaller heading font, I want to write introduction. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does
Yeah.
make
So
sense.
how will you modify this
Oh,
port?
wait, I write H1 again. No, it's
If the art critic stuff is actually just annoying, just let me know, dude. I'll just like immediately remove that out of my thing. All right. It's just one of those weird things. All right.
yeah, I think
Now
it
run
should.
this. Save this and then refresh your thing. Very
Oh,
nicely done. Very beautifully done, actually. Okay. So now we're going. We are actually like ahead on time. Usually I have like teach them how to do this, and it's a whole thing. But since we are ahead of time, let's like run some other tags, so to speak, right? Let's like learn some other extra tags and go from there. For example, what we are going to learn is let's say okay, a little bit of exercise alongside with the paragraph tag. All right. Now I
mhm.
want you to write like a paragraph. Let's say my name is Priscilla. I am a HTML designer, something like that, right? Just 2 lines is fine, I think. My name is Priscilla. I am a HTML designer, right? All right.
Mhm.
First off, save this and then what do you call it? Check the website.
Yeah,
Awesome. What I'm going to do is now, or what you're going to do now is like in the middle of the entire sentence, right? Just put like a lot of spaces.
a lot of
Just,
spaces.
yeah, just hit space bar a gajillion times or something, right? Yeah. All right. Done, done, done. Stop, no, no. I'm trying to prove a point here, right? So open up the website again. Go to the website again. Like save this and then check the website. Yeah. Notice that it didn't change. Even though you put a lot of
Oh,
spaces there, it didn't change because paragraph tag makes sure that the spaces are like ignored, so to speak, if that makes sense, right? It'll always
oh,
keep it in a proper as what do you call it? Proper as what am I thinking? What am I thinking? Proper
it'll be proper like a paragraph, like a proper
Yes,
paragraph.
that's what I'm saying. There, yeah, exactly. We usually put it in a proper paragraph. Now, next thing what we are going to do is we are going to learn about the BR tag. So I want the what do you call it? I want the I am a HTML designer to come in the next slide. So what you're going to do is just start a tag and then in the tag write BR. Yeah. That's obvious, right? Yeah. Just so open a tag, write BR. You don't have to close BR. Break BR as they say, or break as it's called. Always it's a enter. So now you save this and then refresh the website. There you go. So you have my name is Priscilla and I am a HTML designer. That's very beautifully done. Very nicely done. Next what we are going to do is okay. Write another, let's say introduction. What other topic we can talk about? Let's say I am writing my TOEFL, right? So I'm going to say, so we're going to have another heading in the same size as introduction. It will say currently doing something like that, right? And under that we'll have a paragraph that will say something along the I am currently going to write my IELTS exam. All right, does that make
Uh-huh.
sense?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
can you make the changes necessary?
But you wanted like the same
I want another heading that
mhm.
says currently working. What do you say? Current affairs? No. What's the term I'm looking for? Something that's like
Currently doing or currently going to
yeah,
do.
currently going to do something along those lines, right?
Okay.
And because I want introduction to be same, so I want introduction, and the next is like my name is Priscilla, I am a HTML designer, and
Uh-huh.
next line I want there to be another heading that says like currently doing, and then
Okay.
next line a paragraph that will say like what do you call it? What am I thinking? Like I am currently going to write my IELTS exam, right?
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, just make the modifications. You already realize that what do you call it? The not already realize, but one change from Python is like Python is built for a purpose. You want to add bunch of numbers. You want to make a thing that adds rock paper scissors. HTML is built for the client or how the website looks, and therefore there's a lot of like, oh, can you change this? Can you change that? It's a occupational hazard, as they say, right?
Yeah. I feel like HTML is a lot. It looks a lot easier than
It
Python.
is the easiness of it, so to speak, right? Comes from the fact that there isn't a lot of I wouldn't say brain power. Like there's analytical mind and there's like creative mind, right? With Python, you rarely, if ever, exercise your creative mind, right? But you use
Mhm.
a lot of analytical mind because you have, does this for loop work? Does this if okay? In HTML, it's not a lot of analytical. Like there's analytics. Don't get me wrong. You have to figure out like what numbers and like not numbers, but like what tags go on and all that jazz, right? But like most of the time, you're using your creative mind. You're trying to figure out, hey, this looks good. This doesn't look good, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So it depends upon like your what you're better at, I suppose, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
It came.
Okay. Oh, did it work? Oh, yeah, sorry, sorry. I was looking at it. Okay, but there you go. So very beautifully done. It's a separate thing. Now, what I want you to do is, and this is like a in a more like a new tag kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
About the H3. Oh, actually, wait. Can you go back to the website? Yeah. I want currently going to do to be the same size as introduction.
Oh,
So that means instead of using H3, make it H2, right?
okay.
Even though we've already used H2, it doesn't matter because again, the tags are not one of those things where like if you use it once you're done. No. Tags are there to help you out basically. They are basically defining a format, right? So if you see, so now introduction and currently going to do are on the same size. If I want everything in the greeting size, I can just make it H1, but that will be like huge and it's like awkward already. So it's like it's pretty good already at this point, right?
Yeah.
Now above the second H2. So above currently going to, can you type a tag that's like open a tag and type HRE? Just like open a tag and type HRE. And what do you call it? HR. E as an elephant.
Oh,
Alright. Close the bracket. There's no slash. There's no closing tag though. It's like BR. So like now refresh it and run the like save it and check out the website. Oh, nothing happened. Okay, what it's usually supposed to do is like you see, there's supposed to be a gap between I am HTML and currently going to. I think in the newer version that they just like removed it. I think I might be wrong. The point is, it used to be that you use HRE tag in order to what do you call it? Define a little bit gaps between the what do
okay.
you
To
call it?
give like a gap to, okay, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
little
got
gaps
it.
between it, right? The
Yeah.
paragraph already gives you that little gap that you need, but most of the
Mm-hmm.
time, like once upon a time, people used to use the HRE tag. And okay,
Okay.
so there's that. Last thing. There's something called as a poem problem. All right, this is not a problem; it's a very thing. So let's say we don't have to write a poem for this, but like for what we're going to do is like in the next line now. So currently going to do is done, and I am currently going to do my IELTS exam. The next, what I want you to do is without a heading, just a paragraph. I want you to open a paragraph tag and say, write like a, let's say, I am not a, how do I write this? It's hard. See the problem, like why HTML is a thing. It's not the fact that you don't know what the tags are. It's what goes inside the tag. That's like the more thinking thing, right?
Yeah. It's like you have to
Let's
be real creative.
exactly. Let's say this. I like using Google and what do you use? Instagram? Is that what the kids use? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So like I like using Google and Instagram. Close the paragraph tag, right? Okay. Now instead of the first off, we're gonna just do it as do the paragraph, close the paragraph, right? Like so that is slash paragraph, slash p, right? Yeah. Okay. So for the example sake, what we're going to do in front of the Instagram, just hit enter. Like don't type br, just hit the enter key. It'll go to the next line, right? If you save this and check it out, it'll be in the same line, I believe. So let's just do that real quick. So just so we have confirmed, right? Yes. See,
Yeah.
it's in the separate line. Like the separate paragraph is in the separate line, but the Instagram is in the same line because again, paragraph doesn't check for all this. Now, I want you to write in. You see those paragraph, right? Paragraph tags for the I like using Google and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Make the P into PRE, like type PRE instead of P. So it'll be slash, like you see where you write P, right? Yeah, let's type slash PRE. PRE. Same thing for the top one. So it's slash P, right? Make it PRE. Not run. I'm saying run because I'm used to this, right? Now check the thing. You
Oh,
notice that it's written in Courier font and also it kept the formatting that you did.
yeah.
Pre basically means pre-formatted. It basically
Okay.
does the thing of like it already has an existing format and you can use that. Just using like H1s, H2s, H6s and all that jazz and all the paragraphs, you can already make like what do you call it? A relatively decent-ish. I mean, decent is like a beginning website, right? You can already
Yeah.
do a thing of like what do you call it? You can already do a thing of like, oh, this is a good site kind of thing. Now the final thing that like again usually we'd cover in the next class, but like this time we like it's a bonus so to speak, right? End of the paragraph, I want you to start a tag and write a like just in the tag write a. So open a tag. So open a curly base, a curly what's this called? Angular base, let's say, a lesser than symbol, right? Now write
Mm-hmm.
a as in alpha, right? hit space href. So href is equal to I'm going to give you a website. Let's say Twitter. No, I don't know. Oh, actually, you can do it. Why am I sending it to you? Go to Google and then like go to like yeah, just type Google or something, right? Copy the website URL. So basically, what you're going to do is like you're going to get a website URL, right? So just type Google or the website Google, right? Just
Uh-huh.
yeah. So on the top you see like what do you call it? You are yeah that right. Just copy that.
Yeah.
Just copy that. After you copy it in the is equal to, just
Yeah.
paste it in.
What did I do?
You're fine. Copy link address also works, dude. It doesn't really matter, right?
Wait.
Take your time. Take your
Hold on
time.
1 minute.
Sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. All right,
Yeah,
just copy
okay,
that.
here.
Yeah, Control C, copy. All right, now go to the website that you made, right? So
Uh-huh.
not this. The text file of it. Oh, this is going to be
Oh,
tough for
okay.
you. I need to figure out words for this, right? Now start not semicolon. What am I thinking of? What's the the thing we start strings with?
Yeah, this one.
Apostrophes.
Yeah,
No, apostrophes. Yeah, start with an apostrophe. Not this. What am I thinking? The thing next to it. The quotation marks. Quotation marks. Double quotation marks. Sorry, symbols are difficult. All right, symbols are okay. Now paste the website that you did, right? And then
Uh-huh.
close the quotation marks. All right. Close the bracket. So and then type something like link. Like type link. LINK. All right. Now open up now close the to close AHREF. Just open up a tag /A. You don't have to type AHREF only, just /A and close it. Save this. There's a chance this might not work. So be prepared, right? Reload. All right. So you see there's a link, right? If you click on it, it'll
Yay.
take you to Google. So whatever link you copy, like for whatever you copy in the whatever website link that you have, right? You can put that here. So for example, if you want to go to Instagram from the link, you just change. So go back to the code, right? The HTML thing, the code that we just did. If you want to just to go instead of Google, you want it to go to Instagram, just replace the Google with Instagram, right? So I don't know the Instagram's website address, so you just like change it, right? Same way, if you don't want it to say link and you wanted to say something like, let's say, Instagram link or something along those lines, you see where it says link, right? Change it
Mm-hmm.
to Instagram. Whatever word you give there, however long it is. So say you want an Instagram link, like with space. Now control save, and then you
I
refresh
have
this.
no idea if that's actually the link.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
also don't know. You know what? It threw you. It threw you. But it works. It works though, doesn't it? That's the
Yeah.
main thing here. The fact that it works is what we are talking about. So this is how you attach links to it. Tomorrow we'll end up like with CSS. We'll figure out how to change the background color, how to do that, how to do the how to attach a CSS to this, and we'll also figure out how to add images to our site. All right. So
Okay.
for now, we are done. Do you have any questions so far?
No, I do not.
Usually I'd give a homework on this, but like I think you're already grasping the what do you call concept of the very
Yeah,
limited, but
because I
the
remember doing this in school. I did this like 2 years
nice.
back. I just remember like the basics. I don't
Yeah,
remember
that
like
makes sense.
anything.
That makes sense. But
So
again,
yeah.
that the basics that you learn at school are like the stuff that like people use for God knows how long. Only thing is like occasionally people will be like, okay, what do you call BR is now a closing tag, and so everyone's like, okay, fine, let's add our /BRs and shit like that. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that changes. Other than that,
Yeah.
you're pretty fine. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Six. If you don't have any other questions, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, sure.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Oh yeah. Anything?
Okay.
Bye.
No.
Bye.